multi-dimensional divine beings.
Hey, hi, beautiful online magical family. How are you doing today? So I wanted to check back in and talk about my myno-buyyear. It's almost the end of January, so it's an official month for me. And I wanted to talk about my progress and how I'm doing and where I failed. All right, let's get going with this. So initially, I was going to start the myno-buyyear. I wrote the book. I told you all about it. The first thing I said to do was to get organized and itemized so you know where your issue is. Like if you have 30, car parts that you've never put in the car that you've been working on, maybe your shopping addiction's over with cars and fixing up cars. If you go out every night to eat and spend all of your extra money eating out and drinking, then maybe your myno-buyyear should be limiting going out to eat. And if you're a typical woman, perhaps your no-buy problem is around makeup or clothes or household items that you're collecting. Okay, I don't know if you can see this in the back, and this is for another time, but I got so obsessed with Harry Potter. I have every Harry Potter Funko Pop, like ridiculous. I mean, I never meant to become a Harry Potter collector. I don't know how it happened, but that's just what happens with shopping. It makes you feel good, which is why I'm doing this myno-buyyear, because since I moved from California to Texas, I don't have my friends around here. I don't surf every day like I used to. So I'm pretty much like hanging out with nature. I'm writing. And I realized that I was making myself happier or avoiding dealing with my lack of happiness here by buying things, even little stupid Harry Potter Funko things, right? So we all have places where we try to, I think, make ourselves feel better, soothing. And, some people drink, some people, go overboard with gambling or sex. Like addictions can come in all sorts of forms. But the one thing that's the same with all addictions is that they keep you away from the real issue that you're dealing with, right? They keep you away from the real problem, like you're bored or you're lonely or you're afraid or you don't feel connected, or so you do XYZ and that for a minute makes you feel better. Like a drug addict might do a hit of crack and for a minute they feel better, and a shopping, addict and even a normal person shopping, when you buy that thing for yourself, you feel good, right? It's like you gave yourself a present, like a little bit of love, But in the end, we need real love, and things are things, and that's materialism. That's materialism, when you're thinking a thing can bring you love. And I just want to say, I worked at Passages in Malibu rehab, one of the biggest rehabs in the world. I was there from the beginning when we had one client who I can't talk about. We had him for a year. He was a rock star. That was it. And then it went on to be the biggest rehab ever. I have my degree in equine therapy and CCDC and drug and alcohol counseling. So I worked with a lot of top addiction specialists. And I can tell you right now, our clients, because it was almost $100,000 a month to come to this rehab, they were the wealthy people, right? They had all the things. That's the sad thing. They had the yachts. They had the disposable incomes. They had the, Ferraris. They had everything, and they were still killing themselves with alcohol or drugs or whatever they were using to numb themselves, because they learned, sadly, it's almost sadder when you get there and you can buy everything and you realize then, you can't buy anything that means anything. You can't buy love. I mean, you can for a second, but, it's not real love, right? It's somebody maybe faking, or maybe you can, I don't know. You just can't buy anything real. You can't buy nature. I mean, you can buy a house with nature around it, but in the end, the feeling that goes with like connecting to trees and water and animals. I know this is sounding all hippy-dippy, but guess what, folks? This is what makes us feel happy and amazing. The very first thing people do when they're rich is move someplace with nature. So if you're not super rich, you can still go out in nature. You know, you can still find a park. They still let us in. But what I'm saying is nature and, you know, having meals with people you love, spending time with people you love, that's what matters. If you have a yacht and a party and nobody you care about on that yacht and that party, you are a sad person. I've known a lot of rock stars. I knew the lead singer of Humble Pie, and he told me straight up when I was young, 18 years old, working rock and roll, and he said to me, "I've got an island." He was English. He is English, rather. And he's like, "Do you know what the saddest thing in the world is?" And I said, "What?" And I'm not going to even attempt the English accent here. He's like, "Going out on my island, standing in front of my mansion, in the water, watching the sunrise, and there's nobody there I care about with me." I never forgot that. I really never forgot that. That made such an impression on me as an 18-year-old. I mean, I grew up in Buffalo. Everybody was pretty poor. I mean, not poor, let's say blue-collar, steel workers, things like that, you know. And this guy had amassed a huge amount of wealth. I mean, he would fly with other rock stars to get complete blood transfusions because they were all heroin addicts. But, like, he kept trying to impress upon me, like, he adored me because I was the only one not doing drugs. And he was just trying to, like, show me, like, don't go the wrong way. Not that I was ever really tempted, because I've always had a pretty clear moral compass and what's important. But we all get tempted, right? And so it was just always a constant reminder to me that, like, the success, the money, the things, it's not what made people happy. I know you've heard it, but I've seen it. I've seen how sad it is. I've seen how sad it really is when you have everything, but you have nothing that really matters. So, moving back to our no-buy year. Here we are in the no-buy year. So the no-buy year really is about not buying things that you don't really need. I mean, if you need them, you can buy them. It's a total different thing, total different animal, right? But it's not about not overspending, and it's about also being honest with yourself about where you're spending money to make yourself feel good instead of doing something that you should do. I mean, I work with a lot of people that want to write a book, that have written part of a book maybe, or, you know, or even a whole book, and they're not done with it. And the bottom line is, so many won't finish, or they don't do the things that they need to do. So I help them do that. But they'll go years of avoiding publishing their book, and they'll keep drinking or doing things to avoid the fact that they're not finishing something that they really care about. So I challenge you to really look inward and say, these quick fixes that we get with drugs, alcohol, TV even, you know, sex, shopping, where in your life is there a bigger place that you need to attend to that maybe you are in denial about? I mean, we all do it. We all do it. So one of the great things about the no-buy year is when you start getting rid of the stuff, then you just have you left to deal with, right? I talk about this in my book because I went through a no-buy year by default. My ex-husband was a rock star, and then Napster came in, the whole music business died, and we went from like being multimillionaires with like 20 people living with us in a commune and limos everywhere at the night show to me living in a van, pregnant, okay? So I lived on rice, beans, and broccoli for about a year because that's what we could afford, and it wasn't that bad, you know? It's I started writing so many good things, which I put down in the book. Anyway, if you want me to go more into my initial first no-buy year that I was forced into sometime, I can talk about that. But right now we're dealing with month one, almost over in the no-buy year. And I'm so proud of you all for challenging yourself and for coming along with me. And like I said, I had a little hiccup when I started buying too much, preparing for the no-buy. But it's all about getting back on the path in life, right? It's not about whether we'll fall off. Of course we're going to fall off. We're going to stop and pick a flower over here or something, go off and smell a rose over there, or it's going to happen. It's about getting back on our path for everything. You know, that's how you get to everything you want to do. So anyway, this is getting kind of lengthy, I know. So everybody have a wonderful high-frequency day, and please comment. I'm going to try and do more videos. I got a microphone. Now, a bunch of you asked me to please, before I stop buying things, to buy a microphone, so I have one. I'm going to be doing more videos. I'm going to try and do a spiritual video every Monday about frequencies and manifesting. I'm writing a new manifesting book, Advanced Manifesting. And I'm going to try and do a live thing on Friday nights to show up and just talk about different, you know, current events going on. So we have a place to eat and join together and be high-frequency tribe. So come along, please. If you're not subscribed, please do. Whatever, hit the darn bell. They do that nowadays. And please comment and let me know how everything's going for you. Anyway, have a great day, and thanks so much again for sharing your time with me today. Bye-bye.